Hello, Algebra 2. So today here's your agenda. We're going to do notes number 31 and homework number 32. The homework 2 problems will be at the end of this video, so you'll need 2 pieces of paper. So today we're going to actually solve rational equations. Yesterday we just went ahead and found the restrictions. The essential question at the top of your paper is, how is solving a rational equation different than simplifying a rational expression? Okay, so here we start your notes. Oops, what happened here? There we go. So notes 31. If you can hit pause here for just a minute and go ahead and write down your notes. So your steps are to list all the restrictions on the domain, which we did in yesterday's lecture. We're going to clear the fractions. So the fractions are going to go away, and we're going to do that by multiplying by the CD, the common denominator. We're going to solve for x, and then we just have to check to make sure we don't have a restricted answer. Okay. Everything is off here today a little bit. Here we go. Hold on, I'm off a little bit on this. There we go. Okay, sorry about that. So this is your first example. Oops, this should be example number 1. If you could write that down. And off to the side, if you can list a little box that says restriction on the domain and your common denominator. Write down that example, please. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is list the restriction on the domain. And we're going to do that by making sure everything is factored in the denominator. So right here, we're going to have to factor. This just has parentheses. There's nothing to factor there. This one, we have to add the 0x into the middle. Remember, we have to have 3 pieces when we do the magic x. So hidden 1. So what multiplies to negative 25 and gives us 0? And that's easy, right? 5 and negative 5. So x plus 5 and x minus 5. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to write underneath that trinomial. We're going to write underneath here. My eraser's not working. There we go. We're going to write down the factoring, which will be x plus 5 and x minus 5. Okay, so that's our first step. We have to factor the denominator. Okay, now from yesterday's lecture, we have to list the restrictions on the domain. So we take one of everything in the denominator and we solve by setting them equal to 0. And we already have the x plus 5 and the x minus 5, so we don't repeat. So in order to solve this, we would subtract 5 to both sides, so the x cannot be equal to negative 5. The final answer cannot be equal to negative 5. On this one, we would add 5 to both sides. So this would be that x cannot equal a positive 5. So there's our restrictions on our domain. So when we get to the final answer, we would exclude anything. In other words, it wouldn't work. It would be extraneous if our final answer came up with to be a negative 5 or a 5. Okay, so now the next thing we need to do is find the common denominator. Well, you remember how to find that before. It's one of everything. So I need x plus 5. I need the next one, x minus 5. And I already have the x plus 5 and x minus 5, so I do not repeat it. Okay, so we listed the restrictions on the domain. Now we're going to clear the fractions by multiplying by the common denominator. You're going to multiply by what's missing. So we're going to compare the CD and the fraction and multiply by what's missing. So one at a time here now. So I'm going to just start writing my problem out. I have 2 with x plus 5, right? So we're looking at just this one. So this denominator compared to our CD is missing the x minus 5. So I'm going to multiply the top by what's missing. And we did this before when we added and subtracted. No, eraser doesn't want to work. We did this before when we added and subtracted with unlike denominators. So now I'm going to take the next one. I'm going to put that plus sign there. And I have 1 over x minus 5. And I'm missing, what am I missing? I'm missing the x plus 5. So I'm going to multiply the top by x plus 5. Sorry, I don't know why my eraser won't work. Okay, so then I'm going to put the equal sign in. And instead of writing this one, I'm going to just write this 16 over x plus 5, x minus 5. Now, should I put anything on the top here? Am I missing anything? No. So I'm not missing anything, so I'm not going to put anything on the top. So there's nothing missing. This denominator right here has everything. Okay. Once you've done that, multiplied the top by what's missing, the denominators disappear. So now you're just going to wave these out. They disappear. And you're just going to do the numerator or the top. Okay? So you're going to figure out what is the common denominator. That's what we did right here. And then you're going to multiply the top by what's missing. Right? And then clear, or if you want to say delete, the bottom, the denominator. Okay, now we have to do the top. So there's some math that we need to do there. You should recognize that we need to do distribute right here, distribute right here. And don't forget about equal 16. We'll just keep that in the problem. So let's go. So 2 times x is 2x. 2 times negative 5 is negative 10. On to the next one. 1 times x is positive 1x. 1 times 5 is positive 5. Keep going. Don't forget you got to keep writing. Equals 16. Now, what's the next step in your notes? Solve for x. Okay, so we have to solve for x. So let's do that. So let's put like terms together. How much is 2x's plus 1x is 3x. How much is negative 10 plus 5? Negative 10 plus 5 is negative 5. Bring down my equals and 16. So the first step there was to make sure we collected like terms. And now to solve, we're just going to go ahead and I like to draw a line through the equals. I need to add 5 to both sides. That cancels. 3x is equal to 16 plus 5 is 21. 3 times what is 21? The answer would be x equals 7. Or if you need to, divide on both sides by 3. And still, 21 divided by 3 is 7. Now check. Is 7 one of these numbers? No. So that means this is a good answer. Now, if, when we had solved in here, it had come up to be x equals a negative 5 or x equals a 5, then we would have no solution. Everything is what we call extraneous. It wouldn't work. But since this one did not come up to be one of those restrictions, it's a good answer. X equals 7 is a good answer. Okay, let's remember what we did. We factored right here. We did all of that so we can find the common denominator. And then we multiplied the tops by what was missing. And then we get a clear out or delete, wave out the bottom, the denominator, and just solve for x. Let's try another one. Okay, if you can go ahead and write that down. Okay, we need to go ahead and find the restrictions on the domain, so we need to go ahead and do the magic X on this one. So that would say what multiplies to negative 12, and don't forget there's a hidden 1 right there, and gives us positive 1. What multiplies to 12 and gives us 1? It's going to be a 4 and a 3. What kind of 4 and 3 would give me 1? Just 4 positive minus 3. So there's our factoring. So this will be x plus 4 and x minus 3. You can hit pause if you need a minute. Okay, so now that we factored, we're going to go ahead and list the restrictions on the domain. So we take 1 of everything. So x plus 4, set it equal to 0. X minus 3, set it equal to 0, and then solve. So if I were going to pop the 4 over, I would subtract it. So x cannot equal negative 4. Now on this one, if I were going to pop the 3 over, I would be adding it. So x also cannot equal a positive 3. So when we get to our answer, we have to make sure that we don't get a 3 or a negative 4, otherwise it fails. Okay, then we go back to the problem. We're not looking at this part, right? We're just looking at the factoring. Take 1 of everything for the CD. And then, oh, sorry, I'm writing X's and they're supposed to be Y's. My apologies. Let me fix that. Okay. I should fix them in here too, huh? Okay. So our CD is 1 of everything. So y plus 4, y minus 3. We already have y minus 3 and we already have y plus 4, so we don't repeat them again. Okay, the next step is to go ahead and I'm trying to figure out how to close that. There we go. Is to multiply by what's missing. So we're going to take one fraction at a time. This fraction has everything in the CD, so we don't have to multiply by what's missing. There's nothing missing. Let's take the next fraction. This one has the y minus 3, so we need to multiply the top by y plus 4. That's what's missing, right? Okay, so let's do that. Let's multiply the top by y plus 4. And the next one has the y plus 4, but it's missing the y minus 3, so we're going to multiply the top by what's missing. Okay, the next step is to wave out the denominator. So we don't need this anymore. So we multiplied by what's missing from this CD. And then wave out the denominator, or the bottom. And then just do the math. So when you're doing the math, you're focused on this whole top part, and don't forget that there's some symbols in there. Okay, so that's all we're going to work with now. So I have a 4 plus, okay, I have to do 2 times y, 2y, 2 times 4, 8. Don't forget your equal sign. And then this will be 1y, and 1 times the negative 3 is negative 3. Okay, now we need to solve for y. Before I do that, I need to put 4 plus 8 together. So I would have 2y, 4 plus 8 is 12. Bring down my other side. So that's collect like terms, shorten it up, right? Okay, now I want all my y's on the left side, so I have to pop this over. So I have to subtract 1y to both sides to do that. 1y minus 1y cancels. On the left, we have 2y minus 1y. That would give us just a 1y, right? Bring down 12, bring down equals. Don't forget to bring down your equal sign. And then I have a negative 3 left. So I moved the y over to the left. Now I have to pop the 12 over to the other side so I can get the numbers together. So I would need to subtract 12 to both sides. So 1y, or just y. Don't we write just y there? Just y, right? Negative 3 minus 12 more is negative 15. Check. Is that one of the numbers that we're not allowed to use? Nope. So we're good. So y equals negative 15 is our final answer. Now we're getting an answer like that because we have an equal sign. We're solving for x or solving for y. It's a little different than what we were doing on the last test, right? Before we were just simplifying. Okay, on the next slide you have homework. There's 2 problems. Get out a new piece of paper and title it assignment number 32. And then we'll see you guys on Thursday and Friday. Have a great day.